Howdy, friends and floorheads. To say I've been excited about this would not really convey about what we're about to do. I want to start off by saying I have told each of my players before they decided to sign on that this game is expected to be ultra violent. We are likely going to be a little bit more explicit about the violence than you would normally see on the channel. And the reason being is because we're going to be doing that against Nazis. So I am full on ready to be nice and graphically violent when it comes to Nazis. This game is a self-contained game. If you have not seen it before, Eat the Reich, the premise is that each of my players are Nazi or are vampires. Close. They are vampires who have one job, which is to be dropped into Paris and to take out and drink Nazis. Ultimately, to suck Adolf Hitler dry. They come with pre-gen characters. There's no prep needed from a GM. So for my GMs out there, if you are looking for a self-contained game with little or no prep needed, I think Eat the Reich for me is the ultimate one. I think this is the best I've seen so far. You're going to see some familiar faces and some new faces. Let's go ahead and go to the intro, and we're going to start playing. We'll be right back.
Attention, brave viewers. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
We're live. All right. So we have got Sean Drake, who's been on the channel before. He is playing the role of Chuck. Cosgrave, another familiar face, being played by DZ. We've got Ariana being played by another familiar face, Roger. The new face is Mushy, who I've been very excited about coming on. Mushy is playing Flint. We are going to go ahead and just get started. It is night in 1940. Who's typing? Is that you, Raj? No? Okay. It is night in 1943. A B-17 flying fortress over occupied Paris. The inside of the bomber's hangar glows red, casting jagged shadows across the steel-plated floor as the engines scream through the night. The air is thick with oil, sweat, cordite, and vibrating with barely contained violence. Commander Slate paces the narrow aisle between the suspended drop coffins, her boots clanking over riveted metal, the tension in her frame coiled like a spring. She looks to be made of rigid iron, her eyes a cold blue, unyielding, and they cut like a blade through flesh. Her presence fills any room and drains all dissent, leaving only fear and obedience in its wake. Outside the bomber, the sky churns, torn apart by searchlights stabbing upwards, hunting something unseen. 4 reinforced steel coffins hang from thick chains, swaying gently with the turbulence. Through the bulletproof glass windows of each lid, eyes gleam from the darkness within. Not with fear, not even with anticipation, but with something colder and deeper. Hunger. Commander Steele paces between each coffin, tapping each window as she yells over the engine noise. All right, you shade huggers. All our work leads to tonight. You, day nappers, better not frack this up. It's our final move. This mission is simple, even for grave dodgers like you. Infiltrate the Zeppelin, dock atop the Eiffel Tower, and kill Adolf Hitler. Do you hear me? You stake magnets. You four can end this war and return to the unlife of loneliness in some castle in the mountains with your other bloodsack friends. In your drop coffins, none of you fidget, breathe, nor tremble. No racing hearts or ragged gulps of air, only your own patient stillness. The hum of the engines, the rattling of change, and the distant sounds of the city below, none of it matters because you're already dead. It's hot as hell down there, night crawlers. Once you land, you'll be drowning in Nazi filth. I hope you're hungry. She wraps both hands around the lever at the front of the bay, fingers curl and knuckles pale. She looks up at you. Don't embarrass me down there. And then she offers a sharp, unusually respectful final salute. Good hunting. Drain them all. The lever slams forward. With a deep metallic groan, the bay floor splits open. Chains scream through the pulleys as your coffins drop, swallowing you instantly into the night. The wind howls past, but inside each steel sarcophagus, there is only silence, no heartbeat, no cold embrace of the fall, and frantic spotlights lead you to the ground. The city rushes closer, its veins of streets and shadows sprawling beyond the Eiffel Tower's iron skeleton. Your fangs throb inside your lips. Your claws flex and ache for action. Paris is waiting. Now you're going to be dropping into Sector 3, and we need to talk about our target. So very briefly for those watching, Paris has got concentric circles in this game. A Sector 3 leads to a Sector 2, leads to a Sector 1 where we have the Eiffel Tower and our ultimate destination, the Führer's Zeppelin. My four players have a couple choices, though. Where is going to be our first landing? Of the 6 choices, which are we going to pick? Who has some thoughts?
We simply must go to the hotel. I've had such fond memories of that place.
You're
Hotel?
on mute, DZ. You're on mute, DZ.
I will say, as a necromancer, hard to pass up a graveyard for me.
What about the catacombs?
That'll look.
Look, I gotta put in my vote for the graveyard my own self. Boot Hill's a good place for a bloodsucker like us to get our start.
The graveyard is so overdone.
Tell you what, we can hit the graveyard. We hit the graveyard first. We hit the Plaza de Seren. We'll pick you up something nice on the way. What you think?
Ooh, now you're speaking my language, cowboy.
There it is.
All right, let us do the graveyard then. I'm going to quickly build out all of our objectives here. And then I will describe them. Why is it giving me a hard time? Okay, I will figure that out later. To the graveyard. Your drop coffins hit the ground like meteor strikes. The sheer force should reduce you to a pulp. Your bones are shattered. Your flesh almost liquefies. Then your coffins hiss. Pressurized jets release a flood of rich, consecrated nun's blood, coursing through your ruined veins, knitting your flesh and bones back together in an agonizing but ecstatic instant. Your eyes snap open, your fangs ache, and the hunger surges like fire in the gut. The lids begin to blast open. The first lid that blast opens, let's have it be Chuck. So Chuck, I want to set the scene for you first, if I may. Let's talk about the graveyard. All right, let me bring up my graveyard. Rows of pristine headstones stretch in a perfect formation beneath the cold glow of the moon. Each memorial is engraved with an iron cross and a name that should not be mourned. The air is thick with damp earth and night dew, the scent mingling with gun oil from the polished rifles held by a squad of soldiers standing at attention. A lone bugle plays a somber tune as the swastika-draped coffin lays next to a grave waiting for it. The assembled officers murmuring solemn prayers. Their funeral rifles salute is about to begin. Soldiers, you have one simple objective. Your objective is to ruin this funeral. It's got 6 segments. I've turned it into 10 because your first drop, you automatically get 4 additional segments added to your objective. You also are going to be dealing with 2 different infantry squads. So, Chuck, let's start playing. We see the lid flies off the coffin. What are we doing?
So the moment that Chuck made impact, his yee was cut off abruptly. So when the coffin lid pops out, you get a and then Betsy and Maria, the two pistols are out. He's like, "Howdy, boys! Top of the morning." And yeah, we're gonna go in and we're gonna start shooting. What do we think?
I think that's phenomenal. So we are going to start shooting. So let me just, and I apologize, I was getting a little bit of a issue with my clocks. First off, can my players see my clocks, or I need to make them visible to you?
I see your clock.
Can't see it.
All right, let's fix that real quick. There's 1, there's 2,
There it is.
there is 3. So you've got 2 infantry squads, and you've got your objective to ruin the funeral, Chuck. It sounds like you're going to start shooting, I think you said?
I am. I'm using my matched pistols, and that right there. Let me make sure that I mark that off because that's one of my items.
Well, yeah, let's build your pool, right? So which stat are we going to use, Chuck?
Oh, it's got to be shoot, right?
All right. How many you got in shoot?
I got 3 in shoot.
Beautiful. And you're going to, sounds like you're using your pistols. That's going to give you an additional die.
My pair of revolvers.
4 die.
4.
Is there any other abilities or anything else that you're going to take advantage of?
Not just yet. I think the 4 dice is where I'm going to start.
Beautiful. Let's roll those 4 dice and let's see
how
what
it looks when my squad comes to back me up. Nope, that's +4. Hang on.
If we were just in a pool of blood, do we start with any blood counters, or are we at 0?
Do not. You start with 0 blood. You need to feed. All right. So let's talk about how this works. You got, Chuck, a 5, a 3, a 5, and a 2. 1, 2, and 3, we throw those out. Those are not successes. 4, 5, and 6 are successes. A 6 is a critical. You've got 2 successes.
Yep.
And you've got basically different ways that you can spend those. So on your list of how you can spend your 2 dice, how do you wish to spend them? But before you decide, you're up against a threat. One of the threats you're up against is an infantry squad, but there's 2 of them. They have an attack of 6, so I get 6 die for them, plus an additional die because there's 2 of them for each additional threat in there. So I'm rolling 7 dice, Chuck. Same rules apply to me, though. My 1s, 2s, and 3s get tossed out. I'm left with 3 attack dice. So one of the things you can think about, Chuck, is those 3 attack dice are bad news for you. If you do nothing about those, you're going to be downed and taken out of the scene and need to be rescued by your friends.
Yep.
If you get me down to 2 or 1 attack die, then you will just take an injury. If you can get rid of all 3, you are injury free. All right. So you've got 2 assignments, Chuck. What are we thinking?
Well, I'm going to have to defend myself for 1. So I'm going to spend 1 on defending myself from attack. So I'm going to remove 1 of the threat successes.
So as the bullets are flying, Chuck, how are you not getting hit enough to kill you?
Well, I'm zipping from cover to cover. They ain't going to see me. I'm going from, behind the memorial tombstone and then over to one of these weeping angels over here and popping out and ripping off a shot. And then the other one, I need to get some blood in me, Hoss. So the first thing is, one of them Nazis is just a little too close. he comes in thinking maybe to bayonet himself a blood leech, and instead I pop up from behind one of them weeping angels, and I bend him over my knee, and I sink my fangs into the back of his neck, and I rip out a hunk, and it geysers up. Proper Quentin Tarantino blood, you understand. I drink from it like a bubbler, like I would back home.
So what Chuck has
You're
just
wasting
done,
it.
he's gotten himself a blood. So that is a resource that's available to our vampires. All they have to do is spend a die to drink Nazi blood, as Chuck just did, and now he's got 1 blood. He can then have abilities that he can spend for it later. Now, you've left me, Chuck, with 2 attack dice, which are unaccounted for, which means you're going to take an injury here. You have 3 categories of injuries, a 1, 2, a 3, 4, and a 5 or 6. Can you roll me a D6? Let's see which category this injury is. All right, what's the first box on 3? What is your injury, sir?
All right, well, it looks like I have won myself. Oh, limping. Well, they do call me hop along back home.
So where'd that come from? The limp.
Well,
what causes the limp.
As I am taking my bite out of my my fine German sausage here, it appears as though I caught myself a ricochet, caught a little bit of that marble that is memorializing these Nazi sumbitches. And now it's buried in my hip bone. It ain't working quite right. That's all right. I'll hop right after him.
So as we're watching the geyser of blood coming from the neck of this Nazi that's draped over Chuck's knees where he just took a bullet into his calf, another one of the coffins blow open. The roof of this coffin just flips into the air, landing way far down, hundreds of yards away, and out comes Cosgrave. Cosgrave, what do we see?
Well, sounds like there's quite a bit of a commotion going on, so I think I'm going to use that to my advantage and sneak around the back. So, yeah.
So what stat are we going to use here, Cosgrave?
I'm going to use sneak.
All right. How many do you have in sneak?
3. And
all right.
If I can get around, I can pull out my enormous knife and use that.
Beautiful. That'll give you a 4th die. Go ahead and mark your knife. Roll me 4d6. Let's see how this approach works. As you are
so I get a plus if they never saw me coming.
Oh, definitely. So that's an additional bonus. That's going to be a 5th die.
Look at me, boys. Don't look at the man with the big knife.
So as Cosgrave is sneaking around, he rolls 3 duds, but 2 dice are successes, and they are 6s. Let's see what you're up against. Oh boy! Luckily, my 6s are not criticals. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. Now, Cosgrave, that's incredible. So, Cosgrave, you ended up with 2 successes. Once per session, you have the option, if you have 2 or less successes, to do a flashback. In which case, you will take your 5 dice, add 2 more to them, and re-roll them as 7 die. Do you want to do this now, or mathematically you are going to be downed?
Thing is, with 7 dice, I'm still roughly going to hit 4 successes, 3 to 4 anyway. And if they're regular successes, I would still only be covering up 4 wounds, which I've taken 7 anyway. So I would almost rather, can I still use the dice on other things and just take the wounds?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You can just say, I'm going to be downed here, period. And then you can use that frees you up, right? So now you've got, what did you end up with? You ended up with 3 successes. Is that right?
2 6s.
2 crits. Yeah. So you can use those 2 crits to deal with a threat or to deal with our objective. Totally up to you.
Maybe I'll use 1 to pump some blood up so that I can heal some injuries later, and use the other one to move the objective.
So you're using a crit. What that crit is going to give you is 2 blood.
Yeah.
So as Cosgrave is sneaking around between all of the different headstones, moving closer to ruin this funeral, you've got your big knife with you. They didn't see you coming. How are you gathering so much blood?
I think I'm just going along and just Achilles, as many as I can get until they start noticing me. Because, point of order, Cosgrave is not a vampire. He's a reanimated corpse that uses blood to fuel his own life. I don't drink it. I use it. Right? There's a difference.
Perfect. Go ahead and give
So I've
yourself
got a big like flask that I'm gathering it up in.
We call
just
that
like
a semantic difference there.
like a water fountain just off of each
Yeah.
Achilles. You're just slowly filling up
yeah.
your flask.
That's just unsettling.
So Cosgrave, you said you're going to use your other one towards the objective, which is going to get us closer to ruining this funeral. So you're going to get 2 notches towards ruining this funeral. How does Cosgrave ruin this funeral?
Describe the funeral to me.
I gave
Or
you
what
as
state
much
was
as
it
that it's in. So right now, everybody's all attention is on the dropped coffins, right? We've had 4 coffins drop out of the sky like meteors. They've got these hydraulic roofs being pushed off of them. Some dead-looking cowboy comes out and starts shooting it up, and they haven't seen you yet.
Okay, I think that line of Nazis that I'm Achillesing is the gun salute. So I get halfway through them before the other half turn around and
So,
empty.
I'm sorry.
Their
Just
entire
real quick, my
magazine.
daughter is interrupting us because she got a postage thing back from Lin-Manuel Miranda. So that's very good.
Oh,
That's
All right.
cool.
I'm sorry. So Cosgrave, how are we ruining this funeral?
Yeah, I'm Achillesing the gunman doing the gun salute. I get halfway through the line before the other half turn around and shoot me 11,000 times.
But what I'm imagining is that the other commandos are just watching them drop like one at a time down as their Achilles are getting sliced. So Cosgrave, we're gonna figure out what column I'm gonna down you on. So roll me a d6 and let's talk about how you get taken out.
Please 3 or 4. I deserve it after Craig's roll.
You got a 4. So what are our 2 injuries?
Sucking chest wound and shot in the face, which is +2 terrify and -2 con.
Okay. So
And I don't think I was gonna be coning anybody in this run anyway.
I'm imagining Cosgrave like army slice, slice. The bodies are falling. As you you look up and right there, a rifle on your forehead, and it's just and takes
That's
us
just
out.
hard luck there.
All right,
That's
I'm not gonna
typical for me.
I'm not going to have a clock for this, but we now have a secondary objective. It's got 3 ticks on it, which is to revive Cosgrave. Pure chaos. The funeral is interrupted, but not yet ruined. 2 of these coffins, the roofs blow off of them. A 3rd one blows off, and we saw a cowboy walk out of one. We saw a fine English gentleman walk out of the other one and sneak around. This 3rd one's a little different, isn't it, Flint? When that roof pops off of there, what do we see?
see this sort of this humanoid bat thing. It's very scruffy. The clothes aren't fitting. It's obviously like there's rips and tears and stains of all sorts. Like he's just stolen them, probably from the people he's decided that's dinner, which is obvious by the amount of old blood stains that are on it. He sort of crawls out. His arms are his wings. He's sort of just eyeing up the crowd of Nazis, the buffet, to say, until he spots one. That's his dinner. And he's sort of just going to leap to grab on. And there's no tidiness, no cleanliness. He's just going to rip into this guy to lap up all the blood.
That sounds beautiful. It sounds like a brawl to me. Does that sound right to you, Flint?
Yep.
All right. How many dice do you have in brawl?
I have 4.
4 dice. Very nice. We're starting off with 4. Is there any equipment that you're going to be using?
No. But
All right.
if it counts as melee combat, I gain 3 blood anyway.
Oh, very nice. So can you read that ability?
Ravenous. When you're in melee combat, special, gain 3 blood.
Okay, so you're not going to be able to do that until you get some blood first. So this is the first step. So in order to do that special, you'll need to roll a 6 and assign it. Yep. So let's see if you roll that 6. So it sounds like we have got 4 dice. So let's roll those 4 dice and let's see what we get. All right. Very nice. We had got 2 6s and a 5. You have got 3 dice to assign. Would you like to assign one of those 6s to your special?
Oh, certainly. Because that bumps me up quite quickly to having 3 blood.
Beautiful. All right. I'm going to go ahead and roll my 7 to see what you're up against. Not nearly as good as a roll as I got against Cosgrave. I've only got 1 success to deal with. If you want to take your 5 and use that to defend yourself, you will take no injuries, or you can ignore that and take an injury. It's totally up to you. But you've got your little list. You've got 2 more dice to assign, a regular success and a critical. What are we thinking, Flint?
Certainly will not take any injuries. Easy enough.
So how are you avoiding getting shot? So as you're on top of this Nazi and you're just ravenous and just feeding off of him and just sucking dry, bullets are flying.
Pull him, like drop back onto my back. So he's now on top of me, like a nice warm blanket. And it's just going to add to like more of the blood rushing around his body.
No question. Just using gravity to your advantage. I absolutely love it. You have left a critical, Flint. Would you like to use that on a threat or towards the objective?
I'll use that towards the objective.
Excellent. That's going to be 2 more ticks on our objective. How are you, after you feed off of this gentleman, not this gentleman, off this dirty Nazi, how are you ruining this funeral?
Well, don't think they see many of my kind, so it's sort of snarling at things from underneath this man after I push him off.
That is ruined.
You know, and sort of puffing myself up big. And
I think at this point, some of these... yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mushy. So some of these soldiers are now just, whoa, and any wives and children have run away attending this funeral. We are in complete and total chaos. One more coffin explodes. The lid comes flying off of it, and out comes Ariana.
Looking fabulous. Step out. My sweet, sweet idiots. So sorry I am late for the funeral, but at least I came dressed in black. Oh, and I brought you a gift. And I shall pull out my exquisite hunting rifle and leap atop a nearby mausoleum and begin firing wantonly into the crowd.
I think that is beautiful. So it sounds like a shoot to me.
Yes, sir.
How many dice do we have in shoot?
3 dice in shoot. 1 dice for my exquisite hunting rifle. However, I would argue I am in an elevated position.
No question. That gives you an additional bonus with that hunting rifle.
Die. So that will be 5 dice. Let's see what we get.
All right. We got 3 successes out of that, 2 5s and a 4. You're up against 7 dice. Let's give those a roll. All right. We have got, man, they got 4 successes. How are we going to spend our 3 successes? And as a reminder, you're going to get down to just only 2 attacks. Otherwise, you're going to be downed, right? So you've only got 3 successes out there. So just getting run of them and taking an injury is an option. You've also got the objectives. We've got 2 infantry squads of threats. We also have a 3 section clock to bring Cosgrave back into the battle.
Yes, indeed. I do believe I will use 2 of my successes to reduce 2 of the threats.
Beautiful. So as these infantry squads are shooting at you, and you're up there on top, Ariana, how are you not getting hit?
Sacre bleu! They shoot back! How despicable! I shall expect nothing less. Duck down, laying flat on the top of the mausoleum as bullets are ricocheting off of the stonework. However, with my last success, I would like to pop one of these Nazi fools in the head and...
Let's go ahead and do that then. We're going to take one. So a bullet goes flying, pops into one of the soldiers, and they drop, rolling themselves into the empty grave. Everybody's had a chance to go. We
I
now
do need to take one injury.
Oh, let's do your injury, please. Let's figure out what category that's in.
So that will be a 4, which is hair ruined. You will pay for that, you bastards!
That's rude.
Perfect. All right. So we are at round end. So here's what happens. We have a reinforcements that happen. So any of my threats reduced to 0 rating, they restore with 1d6 health. None of them are reduced to 0. I then increase each active threat's attack by 1. So instead of being 6 attacks, they are now 7 attacks. As long as there's 2 of them, I'm rolling 8 dice against you. Who's next? Chuck, what are we doing?
Somebody got to get Cosgrave up. So,
If you want your necromancer on this mission,
no, I do. I do want a necromancer on this particular mission. And like, if my necromancer could not have a sucking chest wound and gotten shot in the face, that'd be really good right now. So I'm going to limp my happy ass over there.
All right, so Chuck, let's go back. You are taking this up, and you said you're going to try to. Your main focus is going to be Cosgrave.
Somebody's got to get the necromancer back on their feet. I'm gonna fix him.
All right,
see what you roll first.
In my heart of hearts, I think I can fix him.
so you've got 4 in fix. You said.
I do.
Any other abilities or equipment?
I mean, I've got a tool belt.
Okay.
You know what? I've got a stapler. I've got a needle and thread. I got an awl. They're basically surgical implements.
No questions. Go ahead and add a die for that.
And I get a bonus if I use them in a jerry-rigging fashion. And I feel like perhaps the tool belt that I have is not uniquely suited to putting together a man who once got shot in the face.
So that sounds like 2 additional dice.
I'm gonna give it hell though for you there, Cosgrave. Hey,
All right, let's
you ain't
roll
worried
6
about-
dice.
You ain't worried about not being as pretty anymore, right? Silence is consent.
I'll manage. Sorry, I'll borrow.
That sounded like go ahead, Chuck. Here I go.
All right, 1, 2, 3. That's much better. We've got 4 successes there, Chuck. Let's see what you're up against.
50.
Yeah, it feels like that, man. I'm in, like rolling. Not that time though. Only 2 successes.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a hit for you, you lucky sumbitch, and I'm going to get you back on your feet this time. So I'm going to go ahead and shelter him like Saving Private Ryan style. Like I finally stopped the bleeding, and like patch him together with, bits of twine and barbed wire. What I got on my person. You're going to be powerful, ugly, son, but get you back up in that fight.
I'm used to it.
So as Chuck is, you're going to use all 3 on Cosgrave. It sounds like phenomenal. So Cosgrave, you're going to stand up after this. What does it look like? What has Chuck done to you, and why are you able to get back up again?
I think he closed I think maybe the chest wound would have been the one to close up, just so that the blood is staying in the body more. The face wound I'll keep. I could use with the 2+2 terrify.
Okay.
Or maybe he like reattaches the jaw that was hanging off.
Just staples.
I fixed the part that talks.
Don't care how I look, as long as I can talk.
I think I'm going to toss to you, Cosgrave, as you stand up, reassembled, and back in the battle again. What is your approach?
Well, I've got a brand new 4 and terrify. Let's go with it.
Sounds like we're going to scare some Nazis, which is fantastic. How much you got in terrify now?
4.
4 in terrify. Any equipment or abilities?
I could bust out the sawn-off shotgun, but I think I'll save it when I'm actually going to be shooting somebody.
All right, beautiful. Let's go ahead and roll your dice. Much better. We got 3 successes, one of them being a crit. I'm still rolling 8 dice, though. Let's see if Cosgrave's luck is a little bit better this time.
Probably not.
It is better, but it's going to be worse to get better. So we've got a 6, a 5, and a 4. I've got 3 successes that need to be dealt with, Cosgrave. You only need to get rid of 1 to avoid being taken out. You have to get rid of all 3 to avoid another injury.
What happens if we take an injury and it is a 3 or a 4 again?
Nothing. So I've got to hit all 6 to kill you.
I like those odds. Let's do one to defense.
Okay, that'll take you down to just 2 successes. So how are you defending yourself? As you stand up and bullets are flying, you avoid getting hit enough that you're taken out. You're going to end up getting hit. What is the first action to avoid?
I think I'm just a little guy. Hard to wait, eh?
Beautiful.
Guy.
Just a little guy.
And it's his birthday.
That leaves you with another success, Cosgrave. What are we going to do with that success? Is that going to leave you with... And one of them's a crit, right?
Yes. I have an ability that conjures nightmare illusions in the area around me. Would that be something to activate before my dice? Because it does have like a plus on it.
So yeah, that would have been what that would have done is added to your dice. But that's okay, great.
Then
How do you want to spend that crit?
let's use my special back pocket hex to reduce a threat's attack rating by 1 with a 6.
Ooh, very nice. Very, very nice. All right. So I'm going to take one of these down. They're going to be down to a 5 instead of a 6 attack rating. What you are doing is disarming and making them less dangerous. What does that look like? What is Cosgrave doing to reduce their attack?
Well, I think I'm busting out the old goodie, the one where it turns the gun into a snake, eh?
And we just see one of the knots, the one that shot you, that gave you that kill shot, is up there, and all of a sudden, and he just drops it and runs off.
Not this time, mate. Eh?
Everybody gets one.
Flint or Ariana, who's next?
I think I have one more success. Yeah.
Oh, you do. Beautiful. Let's use it.
Let's hit the objective once, because I don't think
Excellent.
anyone wants this at their funeral.
I don't think so either, but I need to know specifically, what does this action look like that is again doing more damage and ruining this funeral?
One of the soldiers, the one with the that now is armed with a snake, just books it. He's done. He's done for the day.
Absolutely perfect. All right.
Not my job.
The Fuhrer does not pay enough. Ariana or Flint, who wants to go next? We got Ariana poised up on top of a mausoleum with ruined hair, firing her very fine hunting rifle. We have got Flint, who has been gorging themselves on Nazi blood and using the body to block bullets.
Flint may be a monster, but he's at least a gentleman, so we'll let the lady go first.
Raised right. That man-bat creature.
Very well. Well, this simply is not working. We'll slip off the top of the mausoleum around to the backside. I will hike up my skirts and tantalize with a leg around the corner. Oh, boys.
What stat are we using, Ariana?
This is going to be con.
Ooh, you are
I'm going to
conning
get
them.
them to come around into my trap, which I am laying with explosive runes.
Ooh, very nice. So how much do you have in con?
4 in con.
All right, and the
I will
runes are going to
mark
give you an
1
additional.
for explosive runes, and it has a ++ concealed.
That no question. So it gives you 2 additional dice on top of that.
So that will be 7.
7 dice against my 7 dice. Let's see how we do. That looks good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes with a crit against my. Good thing I don't crit on 6s against my 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Okay.
How are we spending them, Ariana?
Let's use the crits plus 2 successes to get rid of all of those attacks.
So you want to get rid of all of them?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't want my hair to get any worse, darling. We are not yet at the hotel, and I don't know if Francois has a chair for me.
So when Ariana is using these concealed explosive runes, what's happening? We saw the leg come out. We see soldiers rushing to get behind this mausoleum. What are you doing on their way there? What does this look like?
Oh, well, tracing a little bit of arcane wizardry in the side of the mausoleum. As soon as these fools come around the corner hungry for my tantalizing flesh, they learn their folly when they activate and begin melting the flesh from their bodies.
Beautiful. All right, what do we have left to spend, Ariana?
So I have 2 more left to spend. I think one of those is going to go to my blood.
Beautiful. So
As the flesh is pulling off of these poor helpless saps, I merely stick out a finger and draw some. That vintage will do, I suppose. A little corrupted, but
from southern Germany, obviously.
Obviously.
Hamburg.
So gauche.
Very
Gauche. So that'll be 1, and then with my other, I will do a damage to the threat.
To the threat. Excellent. All right, so let's take care of the current threat that we've got going. I'm going to knock that down by 2. Flint, you guys are definitely almost halfway. You're right at halfway of ruining this funeral. We've got some of the men are now behind the mausoleum. Cosgrave has stood up again. What is Flint going to do?
Well, it all depends on the role, if I can do this.
Yeah. What's your approach?
But I want to see if I can grab one of the gravestones and just sort of fling it into, like a bowling ball. All the Nazis sort of lined up perfectly for Flint, and he's just like, it's like a video game. He doesn't know what they are.
Someday in the future, there will be video games.
Yeah.
This is what spurs it on.
All right, beautiful. So it sounds like we're bowling for Nazis using a gravestone that you're pulling out of the ground. What is our stat?
I'd say it'd probably be a brawl, to be like a lifting and a throwing.
I love it. Let's use brawl. You get how many die for brawl?
I get 4.
4 dice.
And I'm hoping for a 6, because then I can successfully do my improvised projectile.
Okay. Is that a special?
It is a special, and it costs a blood.
An aerodynamic.
Those are
I rolled
D4s.
Hard to roll.
It has
for
been a
Heist.
while. Spiky.
All right. Let's see. We got
do
very
have a
nice
6.
roll. You've got 2 successes and a 3rd success, which is a crit. You're going to be up against my terrible roll that has just 2 successes in it. How do we
I am all up for you.
How do we want to spend this?
Well, the crit is certainly going to using
something-
my.
I owe you a die. This is something that I should have clarified. You're using that special ability that gives you a die. Then if you apply a crit to that, then you get the special for it. So do me a favor, Flint, roll 1 more die, because I owe you 1, and I've been shorting the rest of you, I think. Just by using the ability, you get a die. All right. Didn't matter here. Didn't give you another success. All right. So you're going to put that crit there towards that special. What does that special do with the improvised?
I spend a blood and I chuck something large and heavy a surprising distance. Gravestones aren't that light.
Does it? Wait, hold on a second. Does that not
It
give
gives a
you?
plus if it's aerodynamic.
It is a
Okay.
plus for aerodynamic.
What am I getting wrong here? Because that would just be more dice, but it's a special.
It's under my abilities.
Hold on a second. I apologize. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. I fear that I've done something wrong,
It's
and I
because
don't.
I've been
It
the
looks just like
special, you know,
colour.
playing the character that's not play tested.
I think maybe it's just something you shouldn't normally be able to do, and Flint can. I don't know.
Yeah, but it sounds like the special only gives them dice. So hold on just a second here. I just don't want to shortchange you. Oh, here we go. Nacho's in here for me. +1 for spending the blood for her ability, and the bonus +1 if the object is aerodynamic. So it's additional dice. Gotcha. So but it doesn't say special on the ability.
No.
No,
It
that's
just
what's
says-
confusing me. Okay. All right. So you don't only if it says special do you need to spend a crit for it, Flint. Just by
Ah.
using the ability and getting those additional pluses, you've got additional dice. So That means we rolled one additional die for the ability, and you're going to spend a blood. Do you have blood?
Oh, I have. I had a good old lunch
A bit.
earlier.
Alright,
You
Go
know,
ahead and
spit.
spend a blood for me, because that's going to give you an additional die, and then another +1 because the gravestones are traditionally very aerodynamic. So you
Nice
you
and
get
flat.
Yep, nice.
Like
Give me
a
2 more
discus.
dice. You've spent nothing yet.
No successes. That
No
was 2 and a
successes. That's all right.
3.
That's okay.
Well, at least
all
that's
right.
sorted.
All right, but we've got it sorted. We've got it figured out. Okay, so we still have your 3 successes that you can use, Flint. What do you want to use them towards? And keep in mind that I have got only 2 successes. If you do nothing to defend yourself, you will take an injury. If you want to take no injuries, you'll have to spend 2 to get rid of them both. What do we want to do?
I'll take no injuries.
Okay, so we'll spend 2 dice to get rid of those injuries. That's going to then leave you with, you want to leave your crit for something else?
Yeah, I'll leave it with my crit.
What do you want to, what are we going to use our crit for?
Let's have a bit more food.
Excellent. So you are going to gain 2 blood instead of 1. Flint, you have stood up. You've been using this body to block yourself. You continue to block all the bullets as they fly in. You throw our friend to the side. You need a fresh Nazi. Where are you going to find him, and how are we feeding?
Well, a few of them were drawn to our lovely friends. There's probably a few others that are lurking around or, you know, trying to run away. So I'll just run up and grab and just, you know, I'm having a nice shower in some blood, essentially.
All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, has everybody now gone?
Yes.
All right, so let's reinforce. We're going to be back up to 8 dice on the attack dice for our guys that are back. We need to wrap this up, kids. We've got 5 on this objective to end this horror story. Who's next?
Guess it'll have to be me again.
All right, Chuck, what are we doing?
All right, so follow me through on this. The hearse that brought this coffin, this damn Nazi flag draped coffin, that's looking a little bit like an improvised explosive device that is just waiting to be, don't it?
It does.
Well, tell you what, I'm going to use a little bit of, I'm going to roll up my sleeves just a second. Hawk some acid spit, which is a thing I can do, by the way, into one hand. And I'm going to sabotage this Nazi car. And I think that's probably going to be a fix. I'm going to sabotage it in such a way that it's leaving behind a trail of fire that I am going to lead toward where that coffin is waiting ever so pretty to be lowered down into that traitor's grave there.
Yeah, the only detail I'll say is that it's definitely a flammable.
Oh, is it flammable?
With that Nazi flag draped over it, no question about it. There was no safety standards back in 1943. All right, Chuck, so it sounds like a fix for 4.
It's a fix for 4.
Yep.
I'm going to use my tool belt and some acid spit. Acid spit is +2 versus metal.
Okay, you're good.
That's 9 by my reckoning.
9 dice. Let's do this, Chuck.
I'm tired of playing with these Nazis.
Yeah.
All right. Roll for me. Well, ain't that
All
a fine
right.
fettle of turpentine?
Ooh, boy, we got 3 successes. One of them is a crit.
All right. Well, I mean, it ain't
Let's see
nothing.
what you're up against. Our soldiers.
See, if I could roll like that, damn it.
Man, oh man, our soldiers are out for you. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Yeah.
Do you have enough to get rid of 4?
They shot my
Not
damn
even
hat
thinking-
off, damn it.
Don't forget your hat.
Oh yeah, you can use a hat to avoid an injury.
I can indeed use my hat to avoid an injury. I was hoping to hang on to it for a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and push the objective and lose my hat in the process.
Excellent. So that is going to then, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 all towards the objective. Is that what I'm hearing?
All toward the objective.
Walk me through it.
So what I'm doing is I'm spitting that acid spit down into the gas tank of this. It looks a little bit like Adolf Hitler's limousine, right? And I'm going to with, you know, every bit of gumption that I brought with me across this big damn ocean, shove that Nazi death wagon on toward that you know, onlooking funeral procession, and I'm going to light the fire trail behind it. And I'm going to see if it don't blow up a little bit.
And I think it definitely does. In fact, we see the coffin just teetering on the edge of this empty grave. At this point, a lot of these revelers and somber Nazis who are here at the funeral have scattered or have been bled or drained by our heroes. We've got one thing left on the objective. Who's going to finish this? Cosgrave, talk to me.
Well, I know one tried and true way to ruin a funeral, and I'm going to invoke the Dance Macabre.
What is that?
Blood, gain full control of a corpse for around a minute, after which it falls apart.
Okay, so what's our approach, Cosgrave?
Well, can't have a funeral if he's not dead, eh? He stands up out of his coffin. So that's the plan. I get plus if for a Hans, are you okay?
This definitely counts as hot.
If
We
this
now
is
have
Hans's
named
funeral.
We have now named the person in the coffin. It is apparently Hans. All right, so what's our approach? What's our stat?
Terrify again, I think.
I think it's great. So that gives you now 4 dice, right?
Yep, 4.
Sounds like you're using an ability for 5. And then
Yeah.
Hans gives you a 6.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll it.
That'll do.
Ooh, that looks like a good roll to me. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. 2 of them are crits. How did I do?
Me.
1, 2, 3. I've got 4 as well. You need to get rid of 2 of them to not get downed again.
Okay.
So you can use 1 crit to do that if you want.
Yeah, I'll use 1 crit for that. I'll use 1 regular success to complete the objective.
Got it.
Which leaves me with a crit and a regular left.
Yep. And so here's a quick tip for you.
Yeah.
We are now done, right? So we're going to let everybody else go, but you guys are going to be able to clear it after this round. So there's no more reinforcements happening. If you could potentially eliminate a threat, it potentially would reduce the amount of dice everybody else goes up against. Or what is very popular at this moment is just to feed and to load up on blood.
Got a 5 and a 6 left. I'd love to. So I spent 1 blood to use that ability.
Yeah.
I think I will use the 5 to just get that back. And then let's see what the other options are one more time. Defend yourself. Do injuries carry over to the next scene?
They do. So if you load up on blood, you can potentially heal yourself because you can spend 3 blood.
Well, I'm taking 2 shots now, so why don't I use the other 6 to cancel those out and just not take it in the first place?
Just take no injuries at all?
Yeah.
All right, so beautiful. We have got a whole scene here. We have got a couple of these Nazis are left. They are trying to attack you. You are going to raise Hans out of his coffin. The narration is yours. I want to hear this whole scene.
Well, I think as I stand up, I start chanting in what can't possibly be any real language. And I think as part of this, taking control of the corpse, Cosgrave himself goes semi-ghostly incorporeal, so they can keep shooting at me all they want. They're not going to hit anything. So, yeah, Hans gets up, starts shambling out of the coffin, one of the other Nazis. Hans, are you okay? And Hans just goes ahead and bites his nose off.
Beautiful. All right. Now we're in a very unique situation, which comes up at the end of an objective here. We still have Flint who gets to go. We still have Ariana who gets to go. There's no.
Can I ask about the looting? Is the looting an action that you take?
It is not. It's something we'll do after the scene is over. Before you leave the graveyard, we will definitely have some loot potential. So Ariana and Flint, you both get to go. Anything you roll here, you'll want to use potentially to avoid any injuries because we're done. This is your last go at the graveyard, and probably to drink some blood. So who wants to go next?
I'm very hungry, darlings.
Ariana, you are behind this mausoleum. We have got skin melting off of Nazis as you're tasting. Ooh, this is from the Black Forest. Ooh, this is this tastes like Berlin. As you were feeding with the explosive ruins, what is your approach here?
Aha, well, they have only seen my rifle, they have not yet seen my sword.
Okay.
On guard, you rapscallions! And I will charge into their midst, hacking with my magic cavalry saber.
Oh, nice. Very nice. What's the special on it? What is the plus?
Plus for charge!
Okay,
With an exclamation
beautiful.
point.
So it sounds like a brawl plus 2 dice for using our sword. What's
That'll
your brawl?
give me 4 dice.
4 dice. Let's roll it. Very
Ooh.
nice. That is 4 successes. One of them is a crit. We loading up on blood?
Oh, you got to roll your.
Oh, that's true.
Don't
That's
you
true.
roll your
Let's make it
opposition?
super easy for you. All right, let's see. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God! Again, 1, 2, 3,
Gosh,
6 successes.
you're killing me, Craig. You're killing me.
Do you have enough to get rid of 4?
Yeah. I mean, I've got 5 total successes, so I will get rid of 4 and drink a blood.
All right, so gain
So I
a
will take
blood.
hit.
I need an injury.
Yep. Let me
You guys need to
roll
cool my
that.
dice off. Is what needs to happen.
Yeah, seriously.
What's a 1?
1. My suit is torn. Ah! Do you know where I purchased this from? Do you know how expensive this was?
I love your
You
injury.
fiend! You fiend!
Between your hair and your suit, this has not been a good adventure for you. Cosgrave had it
We're
easy,
going to
just
need
having
to
his
go to
chest
the
blown
hotel.
out.
At least my
All
suit's
right.
intact, eh?
All right, Flint.
Don't rub it in, Cosgrave!
They shot my hat.
Don't rub it in, Chuck!
All right.
You dirty
Flint.
hats!
What
Please,
is the final thing we're gonna do here at our graveyard?
He's licking his lips and eyeing up the few remaining Nazis to, finish filling up and have a final snack before they move on, probably to a hotel because, the hair in the suit,
We know her at that point.
All right, beautiful. So it sounds like we're gonna do brawl again. And if our memory serves, that's a 4 in brawl.
Yep.
Any abilities or equipment we're gonna use?
No, I'm just gonna hope that I get a crit so I can use my special.
Beautiful. Let's do it. We got 2 successes, no crits. Let's see what you're up against. Good Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. All right, I've got 4 successes. You have going to have to use 2 of them to not be downed. So let's roll an injury for Flint. So Flint, you come out, you start feeding.
3.
The first box on 3.
Flint is now a bit spooked. He's just like, shit!
Oh.
And he's like run off to go like climb and hide on top of the mausoleum. And he's sort of just peering out the edge with his claws, looking down on everything like,
It'll be all right, love.
So at this
it's
point,
bad.
we have successfully landed in the graveyard and ruined this funeral. There's a few things that I want to do before we talk about our next scene. One is, did we find any loot? As you're looking around, is there anything that looks good?
My aunt always told me, never let a snake go to waste. So if the snake is still around, I would like to keep it.
Excellent. Add snake to your loot slot. So you've got 1 extra loot slot. And then as you use up, like for example, Chuck used his cowboy hat. That's now gone. So he has room for 2 loot. So let's do snake. That's going to have 3 uses by default. What's a good plus for our snake? What's a good bonus that we can give? that
Terrified?
snake?
People are commonly scared of snakes.
How about to the neck?
Ooh, to the neck. I love it. Plus to the neck. That's its bonus. Perfect. So we've got snake plus to the neck. I will tell you that there is one of the soldiers was carrying a small iron cross that is available to anybody who wants to grab it. It's got a ++ used with blasphemous words. So anybody want to grab that?
Yeah, that one's mine.
All right. So grab yourself a small iron cross with a ++ blasphemous words. Ariana or Flint, do we find anything else in the graveyard?
I'm looking for anything shiny, like a pocket watch or something to accessorize my outfit.
All right. You find yourself a pocket watch. Is there a bonus that pocket watch can give you, do you think, Ariana?
I think it is plus flashy.
All right. Perfect. Plus flashy. Last but not least,
timing.
Flint, is there anything you want to grab here in the graveyard?
He's
Try
spooked.
Chuck's hat on.
He's staying hidden, like just sort of peering out. Sort of like.
Does anybody have... Someone has got to go take care of Flint.
I want to pick up Chuck's busted up hat and go and try to put it on Flint.
Okay.
Holes for the ears.
I just want to see if it works. If it doesn't, you don't have to keep it.
I think it works.
Come on.
Does anybody have 3 blood that they wish to either heal themselves, or we have the ability to exchange blood? So if somebody, for example, has 2 blood, they can pick up a blood from somebody else to heal an injury.
I'm just a little peckish.
Chuck, how many do you have?
I got 0.
Oh,
I'm dry,
I don't have enough.
brother. So
I
dry.
don't have enough myself.
Yeah,
to
I
help
have
you.
2.
All right, sounds
Let's
like we're
let's back
gonna
up there.
go a little battered into our next scene.
I'll heal my spooked at least.
Perfect. So drop your blood by 3 and heal that spooked injury for me, Flint. Let's go back to Sector 3. Nope, go ahead.
I will take out a cigarette from my pocket. Cigarettes recovered from the pockets of hanged men. Put it in my holder and light it up.
And what is
I hear
that?
those
Recover
things kill you.
2 blood for that.
Ooh, very nice.
And then I will share one of my blood with Cosgrave, I think. Because you're one
Okay.
off.
I am one. Well, I'm not injured, but if you give those to 1 or 2 of those to Chuck, I can give him the rest to get him up to 3.
Yeah, I'll give 1 to Chuck then. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give my 2 to him.
All right,
Okay,
so
I
so
owe you
first
one.
off, I need to know what that looks like. So Ariana and Cosgrave are giving Chuck blood. How does that happen?
And I just got a flask. Take it.
So, like, it's cigarettes and whiskey.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He bums a smoke and grabs a drink.
It's quite smooth, is it not?
That is so perfect for the cowboy.
That's
It's
amazing.
my kind of party.
What do we heal, Chuck?
I'm no longer limping.
Oh, beautiful. So we
Oh, that's
see that
great.
bullet wound on your calf just kind of sew itself up.
Need you at full
And I-
strength, eh?
Well,
I
I
will
ain't
also
as good as I once was, but I'm as good as I ever was.
I'll spend 3 blood to recover my ruined hair as I'm pulling some of the blood through my luscious locks into a
You
nice
have a-
little pin-up coif.
Perfect.
Didn't want to say anything. You did have a bullet in your bonnet there.
So the 4 of you are in the graveyard. In the far, far distance, you can see the lights of the Eiffel Tower. We need to work towards there, and I need to know what's in the way. So are we going to go the way of the church, of the hotel? Are we going to look for some catacombs? We can go to basically a classy bistro area, the Place de la Serene, or we've also got a department store that's along the way.
Oh,
Where-
yes!
Where the 4 of us going to go?
I think it's Arena's turn to pick.
Well, this suit is not going to fix itself. We must go to the store. I hope they have my size.
I did promise
Double
you a
zero.
shopping
Flint.
spree.
So the 4 of you work your way towards the Eiffel Tower, coming upon the Grand Magasin Martin. It's a sprawling, multi-level department store selling almost anything you can imagine that can be imported from Germany. The air is thick with a mingling sense of expensive perfume, fresh leather, and the lingering bite of cigarette smoke. Grand chandeliers cast a golden glow over polished floors where state-of-the-art escalators hum as they ferry Paris' wealthy, draped in furs and arrogance, between floors stocked with the finest German imported goods. Harried clerks in crisp uniforms scurry between gleaming glass cases and lacquered counters, their forced smiles barely masking their exhaustion. A quartet in the corner of the main lobby plays a jaunty waltz, nearly drowned out by the steady murmur of commerce, the occasional bark of an impatient officer, and the clipped heels of jackboots echoing against the marble. Outside, after you've entered, you hear a commotion. It sounds like soldiers are approaching. Die Vampir ist es dran, vielen sind sie! And as you slide into the shadows, they burst in looking for whatever dropped in those coffins. Soldiers, your objective is to find your way out of this maze-like building. You're going to be up against an infantry squad, which we had a ton of trouble with in the graveyard, as well as the store security guards. But before we get going, let's take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. So unlike our entrance at the graveyard, this was a little bit more subtle. We slid into this department store, currently unseen as you've hidden into the shadows, as this infantry squad has broken in to search for you, trying to find who was it who dropped from those coffins in the sky. As always, you guys get to go. What are we thinking? Who's going first? As a reminder, our objective is to find your way out of this maze-like building. You're up against an infantry squad and the store security. The infantry squad has an attack of 6. With help from the patrol, they're going to get an additional die. So you'll be up against 7 die unless we do something about it.
I'll tell you, this ain't my rodeo, so.
I don't normally go for fashion off the rack, but in this case, I will make an exception.
Excellent. It sounds like, Ariana, you are going first. Is that a fair guess?
Oh, yes. We're going to go from a concealed location. I'm going to shoot at some of these security guards. I know how to hide among the racks and not be found. I've had many dalliances with some of the nobility in such a store. I know where they are not looking.
Sounds like we see a rifle peek out from some of the clothing racks. It sounds like a shoot to me, Ariana. So that gives you what? What do you have in shoot?
Shoot is 3.
3 dice for shoot.
Rifle gives me a 4th.
That's 4. Let's do it. Two successes, one of them being a crit. Up against, does my luck continue? I do have 3 successes. You'll need to get rid of one of them, Ariana.
I will use the... I'll use the 4 to get rid of one of the threats.
All right.
And then I will be using the 6, the crit, to shoot at the infantry squad.
Excellent.
Mark 2 damage on that. So
done.
I think the rifle pokes out from the clothing rack and fires off several shots, and then they just light it up with gunfire. So I'm going to take an injury. Let's see where that comes. 5, shoulder injury.
So you get popped in the shoulder. All right, so Ariana, let's walk it through from the beginning. We see the rifle pop out from the clothing racks. We've just got this infantry squad storming in to the department store looking for the vampire.
Yeah, and the rifle goes off, cracks into some of the soldiers, but then they light up with their guns into the clothing rack, shreds of cloth flying everywhere, and you see Ariana come like scrambling out with, her shoulder sort of hanging limply. That was not so bright, was it?
Fashionable injury. Glorious.
So right now, Ariana has got all of the attention. Who is going to pop in and help?
Never
Cosgrave.
let a commotion go to waste.
All right.
Cosgrave's got a knack, and if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So I will just go ahead and use sneak to start out right behind them as soon as they enter. This time, maybe I'll focus on one and use the old sawn-off shotgun at point blank range, just right into the spine.
Perfect. So you're going to get what for sneak?
3 for sneak.
3 for sneaking up on him. 1 for using the equipment.
Yeah, plus for point blank.
Ooh, that puts you at 6 die.
Let's do some work right away. Maybe make the rest of this a little easier. Nah, let's not.
So, 1 success. Once per session, which we're halfway through, you can pick that up, do a flashback, and reroll everything with 2 additional die. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
All right, so I'm going to need... Give me a 1d6. Let's figure out the context of this flashback. All right, Cosgrave, I need a flashback about extracting a spy from behind enemy lines. And the question, give me one more D6. The question is, you recruited one of our characters here into Fang, which is what we call ourselves. What did it take to get them on board? So this flashback is going to be you recruiting somebody. Maybe that's our spy. Take us back.
Yeah, I think that too works out because that's already what I was thinking. I think Fang told me in no uncertain terms that there was a character that was worth more to them than I am, and that would be Ariana. So I had to.
They were right, darling.
Yeah, but she was a free-range vampire at the time. At first, when I went into the cage basically that they had her in, she thought that since I am not a vampire, as you can tell, she thought it was feeding time until she realized that my blood had long since run cold, despite not having fangs myself. I've got a deal for you, though. Hey, I work for some folks. Would like to have you on board. What you say?
I'm interested. Do I get a clothing allowance?
If that's what you want to spend your wages on, knock yourself out. But we do need to get out of here, eh?
Oh, yes, I would love to, but see, these bars, they don't leave it unlocked for me, unfortunately. I've tried.
Well, I've got just the thing, eh? And I
should
go
hope
ahead
so.
In this flashback, I'm going to use my bottled ghosts that go right through walls. Creates a cloud of smoke that render the bars intangible.
Beautiful.
Right this way.
That's a neat trick there, soldier boy.
Yeah.
I'll
Not
keep you
cheap
close
either.
at hand.
So Cosgrave, bringing us back to the current, you have now snuck around inside of this department store behind a group of soldiers. You pulled out your shotgun. You realize that they have shot the one you recruited in the shoulder, which is giving you a bonus here. Let's now roll, was it 8 die?
8 now, yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
Not expecting much.
It's better.
I'll take it.
1, 2, 3, 4 successes against my garbage. 1 success.
Finally.
You've
Yeah,
got some
well-
die to assign.
Yeah, I will knock out their hit.
Okay.
I will reduce the threat of the infantry with 2 of them,
Beautiful.
and I will take 1 blood with the remaining one.
All right. So
Catch a little
you're-
bit from the splatter.
All right. So walk me through it. You come up behind him. You realize that the one you recruited has been shot. You've got your shotgun there. It blasts off. You are going to do a tremendous amount of damage to this infantry squad, as well as take some of their blood. What's that look like?
Yeah, so I come up, I see the shot, and I know if she ain't come back, I ain't either. So I think I do point the shotgun at the spine of the one in back, but there's actually another one in front of him as well, who is a bit unlucky, So yeah, that's 2.
And how are we collecting our blood?
Well, I didn't think I was going to be able to get any from the one I hit immediately. But the other one, that's a graze. I can get something from that,
We fill up our canteen.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right, beautiful. So Ariana has shot, creates incredible disturbance. We hear a second shot from the shotgun as Cosgrave is collecting some blood and doing some real damage. We're seeing bodies fall between the 2 of them. We've only got 2 of them left. Who is next?
Flint will go next, and so
Where are you hiding, Flint?
We can't really. He sort of hid himself half in the clothes, but big arms that are wings makes it a bit difficult, especially with now, a cowboy hat that's been plonked on his head. When he walks, is sort of hunched forward, knuckles on the floor. Sort of try and sneak up to grab one of the soldiers and make a quick meal out of it. That's what he likes.
I love it. So definitely attention has been concentrated on gunfire at this point. So we see Flint start to sneak up to also attack from behind. So it sounds like we're using sneak. Is that right, Flint?
Yep,
How many dice do we have in
I
sneak?
have 3.
3 dice in sneak. Do we have any abilities or equipment that we're going to use?
We will use some steel gouging claws, and that gives a plus to ambush.
Oh, and definitely an ambush. So that puts you at 5 dice, Flint. Let's roll them.
Let me take that.
All right. Very nice. You've got 3 successes plus a 4th crit. You're up against... Jesus, another good roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. You're going to need to spend 3 not to be downed to defend yourself. And then you can leave yourself with a crit if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that. And as it's melee combat, I'll use that crit to activate my special and gain 3 blood that I previously spent to, not spook myself anymore.
And if you want,
stress eating,
you can use that. You can use that crit. I'm sorry. You're using that crit in order to enact your special. So this is just a devouring. We just see Flint just grabbing bodies as you are just feeding after one soldier after another. We are 2 away from taking out this infantry squad. Chuck.
Well, the way I see it is I got one damn job on this squad, and that's making things work and making things not work. I think at this point, what we see is Chuck has wandered himself not into the main hall or anything like that, but back into the back hallways where the security stations and everything are. I'm looking for the mechanics room so that I can maybe shut off the lights, because one of the good things about being a leech is I can see in the dark and the Nazis can't.
So that sounds like a fix as we're sneaking ourselves into the maintenance room. Is that right?
That's right.
All right. And that, if memory serves, is 4 dice.
Plus my tool belt.
That's
for
5.
another
How
2.
many uses you got left back on it?
I got 2 more.
Okay. That puts
Plus
you at
Jerry, so
Jerry Riggin. That's going to get you at 6.
I'm gonna see if I can't short circuit me a box real quick and see if I can maybe make some craziness happen. There we go. That's a
Very
little-
nice. We've got 3 successes. 2 of them are crits. You're up against another really
4.
good roll. This is unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, 6. How many
this is like
successes?
that haunted house game you did.
I know, right?
I've got 2 crits, which means that I've got 4 that I can soak with my defense, and then I'm
Perfect.
going to see if I can at least take down them bad guys just a little bit.
So with you cutting the lights, this gives you an opportunity to take out a little bit more of that infantry squad. What's that look like?
So what I'm doing at this point is I'm not just taking out the lights, I'm overloading them. Showers of electrical sparks and glass falling down among them, making them take cover so that Flint can continue eating them.
Perfect. So everybody has gone. Quick reinforcements. You, instead of being up against 7 dice, you're up against 8 dice now. Who's going first?
With the lights off, I'll properly go on the hunt and start ripping into these people. Not for food, but just to get them out of the way.
We have an angry Flint, it sounds like. So Flint, are we using Brawl?
Oh, yes.
All right. If our memory serves, that's 4 for you. Any abilities or equipment?
I want to go for the claws because it's dark. I can see in the dark. They can't.
Beautiful. These steel claws come out. That gives you 5. Do you get a bonus on those claws for something?
For ambushing.
It's dark out, so that's going to be 6 dice. Definitely. Is it 1 or 2 pluses next to that ambush?
Just 1.
All right. So we have got 5 dice. No, 6 dice. Let's roll it.
Oh, I see 2 crits in there.
I do see 2 crits. We've got 2 crits and a success. Let's see if I can continue my amazing rolling. It doesn't look quite as amazing. I have only got 3 successes. You only need to get rid of one of them, and then you're going to take an injury, Flint.
I'll take, I'll let the cowboy hat take it for me.
So
We'll
what
put
we
another
decided
hole in it.
Yeah, what we decided in the break is not only did Cosgrave recover Chuck's hat and put it on Flint, but fixed it up a little bit so it returns its ability. So that's going to allow you to avoid this injury, Flint. So that's perfect.
Don't leave that behind.
He's just sort of shoved it back over one ear, the ear through it. He's sort of the steel claws. He's just ripping straight through. There is blood everywhere. All these clothes, she's in our lovely lady friends now to look further down the store to find a new outfit. None of these clothes are going to be nice after Flint's little mess.
So it sounds like what we have done is we have taken out one of the infantry squad. I think that still leaves you with a crit, Flint. What would you like to do with that last crit?
Let's use it to get some of the store security.
Beautiful. So as you're just ripping through and just tearing through these soldiers. We get a couple of very nervous German security guards going, 9, and you just start ripping through them as well. So they're going to take 2 damage because of that crit.
Well, sounds like Flint's got that handled. Might as well start making a mole.
So here's where you guys have an incredible opportunity, because the attack dice of that infantry squad is gone until reinforcements occur, which means you're only up against the store security, who only have 2 dice.
Yeah, I'll go.
Go for it.
I would like to use my bottled ghosts again, now that the audience has been introduced to that. Just start. We don't have time to find our way through these wolves. Let's just go through them, right? So,
beautiful.
I guess search.
You tell me. Looking for the right place?
How about fix? I need to.
Sure.
I need to find the right spot.
No question. So yeah, let's use fix. How many dice is that for you?
It's 3, +1 for bottled ghosts, ++ for pass through walls.
Beautiful. So that sounds like 6 dice
Sounds like it.
against 2. I can only do so much now. This game sucks.
Well,
All right.
Stein.
You got 2
That roll.
successes. These rolls. Oh boy.
I'm used to it.
All right. I've got 1 success.
Okay.
You got some nervous security who wants to beat up on you a little bit, Cosgrave.
Yeah, I'll use 1 and 1. 1 to dodge and 1 to work on the objective.
All right. So as they approach you from behind, what is Cosgrave doing to prevent himself from getting hurt?
I'm lining up my shot because I need to hit the wall just right with this bottle. And unfortunately, he walks right into my shot. So
Yes.
I'll just hit him with it. And then
Splash damage from the...
Yeah, he unfortunately is also incorporeal for the time being.
Look at that, another ghost.
Yeah.
He's trying to touch his head and his hand's going inside.
Quick, bottle him.
Not bad
All
idea.
right. So we're in a very interesting spot now because we only have 1 injury left on our security team. And who's left to go?
I still have yet to go.
Yeah, and Chuck as well, right? Chuck hasn't gone this round. All right. Who's going next?
I mean, ladies first, if you want.
Oof. I learned this charming little trick from a street musician in Nice. He had the most delicate fingers. I'll pull out my pocket watch, and I began dangling it in front of the face of one of the security guards.
Oh, I love it, Ariana. I was dying to know how you were going to use that watch. So security guard comes up and goes, "You don't belong here. Let me take you to safety."
we'll just see about that, Mr. Man. So I'm
sounds
going to be using con.
All right. How many
plus
dice
my
is that?
pocket watch. So that's 4 on con, 1 from the pocket watch, and the pocket watch is flashy, so I think it is getting his attention.
I love
For
it.
6 dice.
6 dice. We will take that roll. That is 2 crits and a die against our little security guard, who of course gets 2 successes.
Okay.
Y'all know we're the good guys, right?
I think I will use one of my crits to avoid the damage.
All right.
That leaves me with a crit and a success, so basically 3. I will use one of those successes to find our way out of this maze.
Yep.
And the other crit I'm going to use to get blood. So this is how it looks. Of course, I have him enraptured.
Well, hold 1 second. If you
Oh,
do want to use
yeah.
one of those to take to damage, you're going to take out the security.
Yeah, but I want blood.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what you have to do.
Chuck will take care of him. I'm sure.
Okay, perfect.
I don't want to get my hands too dirty.
All right, so
Waving the pocket watch in
Yep.
front of his face. Where are the additional guards coming, mein Freund? I need to know this information. Help a little girl out.
kiss me.
Oh, I never kiss on the first date, but let me give you your neck a little nuzzle. And then just...
Just blood splatters all over the display case right next to where you did this. All right, Chuck. You're in the maintenance room. You have taken the lights out, which has really given the team a huge advantage right now. They have been doing some damage.
Well, you know, I tried fixing it. I tried turning it off. I tried turning it on again. I only got the one other trick. I'm going to go ahead and skin Betsy and Maria once more. Well, girls, time to shoot our way out of another mess. And I'm gonna start finding my way. I'm gonna start shooting my way out of here.
I absolutely love it. So it sounds like a shoot, which gives you
Definitely.
how many dice?
There's only a couple of these guys left, right? So I'm gonna
Oh,
go
yeah.
full unforgiven. All right, now, any one of you understand that I am getting out of here right now, and any one of you wants to stand in my way, I'm calling you out. I'm gonna give it a couple of potatoes.
I love it.
Anybody gonna accept my challenge?
Oh, so I know what you're doing. So one lone security guard comes up and goes, c'est toi, this way.
Much obliged. I'm gonna gun him down.
All right. So what is our shoot?
So it's 3 shoot.
3 shoot using Betsy
Betsy and Maria.
and it sounds like we're doing a duel.
It's a duel. He doesn't
And
know
what's
it's
that?
a duel, I guess.
What's that give you?
That's a plus.
All right, it sounds to me like 5 dice.
Yeah. Roll it. Yeah,
2
there it is.
successes. We know I'm going to roll 2, so let's do it.
There's your 2 successes.
I
Oh.
only got 1.
All right. Well, I'm going to defend myself, and I'm going to gun this poor sumbitch down.
And he goes down. That finishes this round. Now, I have got 2 of my threats at 0 health. So what happens now is I get to roll a d6 for each one of them, and that's how much they're going to restore. But they come back at half attack rounded down, which is the big deal. So let's see. First, we'll roll for our some reinforcements on my soldiers. They're going to be at 5. So let's go right. And then for my store security, they will get full health, but store security now only has an attack of 1. And my infantry only has an attack of 3. So this is going to be hopefully much easier. As you gun down the last one, we see some more of the store security kind of coming to the main area of the battle. Some more soldiers pouring in the front door, reinforcing their friends. Who's going first? Who wants it?
I guess I'll go for it.
Let's do it.
Flint
You'll be
just
up against 4 dice.
turns and looks and does. Flint!
What's
And
our
he's
approach, Flint?
Bounds straight to them. You know, like an overgrown sized dog to its owners. Very happy. Little tail wag as well. You know. He's overjoyed at that, you know, even more turned up. You know? This is the best night out he's had in a long time. You
And
know.
Bless that, Flint.
What a contrast to this posh department store as we see Flint lobbing across these marble floors towards our German friends. So what is our approach, Flint? What stat are we going to use?
Ooh. I think it's just going to be straight brawling.
Love
Straight
it.
old picking a fight with them.
All right, that's 4. Are we going to add anything to it? Any equipment?
No.
And all right, let's roll our 4 die. Looks like we only got 1 success,
Ooh.
which Flint puts you in a position to potentially flashback if you would like. Would you like to pick those all up and roll 6 dice? Or do you want to save your
Yeah.
flashback? All right.
I
so
think I'll do that.
beautiful. Let's figure out your flashback context. So if you can give me a D6, I'll tell you the context of this flashback.
4.
That is a 4. So it's all right. You got to re-roll it. We've already done 4. We have to re-roll it again.
Really want to do a 4.
Full
5.
later. All right. So you're going to be stealing a cipher machine from a submarine.
It's a
And
big
let's
ask.
find out your question. Let's roll a D6.
6.
And you won't let one of the other characters see you fail like this. What do they most respect about you? So set the scene for me, Flint. You are in a submarine, stealing a cipher, and you will not let whoever's there with you see you fail. Who's there with you, Flint?
I'm going to say probably Chuck.
All right.
Flint sort of had to like pull his wings in for fitting neatly down these narrow hallways. It's sort of just like, no, I have to actually do this properly. I can't just go nom 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 nom. Cause that's he's just like, I want to be in my cave and I want to eat food, but they took my cave. So he's very quiet as he sneaks, sort of very careful about, you know, making any noise. And his ears are constantly on a swivel, so he can keep an eye out for where there could be any guards. Instead of, as we've seen, the big loud mess that has been happening early in these scenes. Anytime they've come across a gem, he's been very quiet, sort of grab and then just take them down. And sort of they come into the folds of the wings for just a brief moment before being left on the floor. And he's sort of trying to remember which way to go. He doesn't have a big brain for this sort of stuff. He is not the smart one of the group. He's sort of just padding around trying to like he's poking his head in each room going, really? Codes? Him? And he's checking, and he eventually when he does find it, he's sort of just like pokes his head around the door, sees a few people in there, and is just like, shit.
Guano.
So he just goes and decides just to make a mess. So, granted, he may have come out with the cipher, but it may just be a bit bloody.
All right. And we see you and Chuck survive and escape from the submarine. We flash back to you bounding across the floor, ready to attack. Chuck is watching. It is important that you impress him. So I think that's what's giving you the extra 2 die. So let's roll our 6 dice now. How did we do? We did much better. We've got 4 successes is what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and roll my 4 die, which of course are all going to be successes. We've learned that. Well, I got 3 out of 4. So you only need to get rid of 1, and you can take an injury and use your other 2 dice for something else. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll use one of them and then take an injury.
Okay.
So I want to take down as many of these as I can to show, that, like, yeah, I'm messy, I'm loud and that, but I can do the job.
All right. So you want to do 3 injury. Do you want to do them to the infantry squad, or do you want to do the 3 injuries to the patrol?
To the infantry.
I think that's a smart move. So they are going to take 3 more injuries. So as we just see Flint again, just tearing through these reinforcements as they're pouring into the department store. Who's next?
I need to roll my injury.
Oh, roll your injury. Thank you, Flint.
5. That is hamstrung.
Ooh, how does that happen?
He probably reaches about a bit too far out with his wing. Pulls something, then cuddling it to his chest and going around 3-legged. About the fact that he's hurt his arm.
So what I love about this idea is that you weren't injured by a Nazi, you just pulled something.
Into it is all.
Yeah.
We've learned that Flint needs to stretch more before we would do this.
Yeah.
Now, is there a mechanical result to this, or is this a first box or a second box?
First box.
Okay, beautiful. So Flint's doing some damage on these reinforcements. Who's next?
I can go. I think I'm just gonna use sneak to do a once around the area that we've explored to try to push the objective forward.
Gotcha. So let's use sneak. Are we using any equipment or abilities?
Nah.
All right, let's do it. Got ourselves a success. As you are lurking around, 1 notices you. I have a success as well.
Yeah, I'll just cancel that out, I think.
So you're going to sneak around. Someone's going to find you.
Hold on. No, I'll take the injury and I'll push the objective 1.
All right, perfect. So you're moving the team closer to getting out of this maze of a department store, but someone's going to hurt you along the way. How do they hurt you?
Bless that Flint. He's got 1 job, but he's the best in the world at it, eh? The guy doesn't hurt me on purpose. He comes flying across the store as I am sneaking along the wall, and he just happens to dome me.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Watch it.
It's Flint that hurt you. Let's go and see what's rolled at injury, Cosgrave.
Give me a freight or a 4. Nope. That will be grimoire damaged.
Ooh.
So I think it just falls out of my pocket. I get domed, and then I step backward. I step on it and slip. It goes sliding across the floor, and the cover's all torn up.
Absolutely. That's great. So your book's been hurt a little bit.
My aunt gave me that.
We've got some good progress here, folks.
Sally.
Still, you love you.
Watch where you throw it.
I think I'm going to continue my unforgiven rant at this point. As I pull out the small iron cross, like, this is what you're putting your faith in right here? You think that this is going to stop me? Look at this. I put it on my damn tongue. And I just full on playing up the angry vampire cowboy, calling each and every one of you out. I'm trying to terrify.
Love it. How many dice?
2, but with the
All
small
right.
iron cross and blasphemous words, that gives me 5.
Ooh, very nice. 3 successes
Not bad, not
up
bad.
against my 2 successes.
All right. Well, I'm probably going to go ahead and let those 2 successes deal some damage to me. I'm going to push the objective forward twice, and I'm going to drain a blood as well because somebody is, stepping forward to get their licks in.
All right, so let's talk about what we're about to narrate here, Chuck. You are getting us out of this department store. You're
Exactly.
finding the exit. You are going to get hurt. We'll figure out what that hurt is here. And then you're also going to drink along the way. So let's figure out your injury so we can narrate the whole thing.
All right, sounds good. I'm back to limping. Damn it.
All right, what happens, Chuck?
So
The other leg.
I think it's probably the other leg at this point. So I think what it looks like is as I'm having this rant, opportunistically reaching out, grabbing myself, somebody yelling in his face, having a bite out of his nose, lapping at the wound, tossing him into his buddies. His buddies are in the midst of drawing down, but as they go down, they squeeze off around. It tears through my damn right knee. I'll be dragging that from here till doomsday. You know how easy it is to fix a knee? It ain't. But in any case, luckily we are still making progress as I put this fool who just shot me through a wall. Looks like we're getting closer to our objective there.
All right, who has not gone this round? Is it Ariana's
I have
left?
not gone. Yes.
And you are our last go before we escape this place.
Ariana will back into the elevator and slide the door closed, and she'll throw the lever up, and it'll go up, and she goes, 2nd floor, housewares, dining, and gate! And she'll step out with the rifle and start peppering from an elevated position.
Absolutely love it. So it sounds like a shoot.
Yep.
Sounds like
So
we're using
shoot
our
is 3
rifle.
dice. Hunting rifle gives me 1 + 1 for elevated position. So that's going to be 5 dice.
Let's do it. That is 3 successes, 2 of them being crits against my 3 successes.
Whew. Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Let's go ahead and do... I'll negate your damage with a crit and a success.
Got
That
it.
leaves me with a crit, which I will use for blood.
So as you're peppering that down and shooting him, Ariana, how are you feeding?
Yes, so they start charging up the stairs towards me, and I'm just popping them as they're coming, and blood is just fountaining out of their faces, and it's just washing over me. Yes! Feed me, my little German krauts!
And we see the 4 of you get outside of this department store. Now, one of the things we decided during the break is we're going to do only 2 locations in Sector 1. Our next location is going to be in Sector 2. So let's talk about Sector 2 real quick. But before that, do we have anybody who's going to be spending blood? And we need to talk loot.
Yes, I would like to... I managed to grab something classy off the racks as we were fleeing, so I will spend my blood to repair that torn suit.
Perfect. So we have a change
It
of
wasn't even
clothes.
torn in an alluring way, darling. It was just mangled.
Anybody else healing up with some blood?
Yeah, I'll heal at my hamstring injury. And for loot, I would have tried to find something to fix the cowboy hat before putting it back on Chuck.
Oh, very nice. So,
Much
Chuck, your loot is going to be a cowboy hat, which looks really familiar. It's got a little bit of extra fur inside of it, though. So our cowboy hat is restored to Chuck. That is Flint's loot. We have got Ariana found some loot. I will tell you that either Chuck or Cosgrave, you did notice a very nice set of steak knives that were on display in kitchenwares. They have 3 uses with a plus throwable.
I've got a knife.
Are you both full?
Do we have? Yeah, I'm full. Do we have another
Okay.
spot or?
Is Chuck full?
No, I got a spot. I mean, it's all y'all are supposed to take it if you want it. But I had that little iron cross, but I just used it to.
Well, you get 3 uses of it.
Oh, did I?
Oh,
okay.
yes. You only get to mark off 1 on that. You still have more 2 uses. I think you guys are full on
Excellent.
loot.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So now let's talk about Sector 2. We've got a lot of choices in Sector 2 as we move closer towards our goal, which is to get to that Eiffel Tower. We've got a concert hall. We've got the exhibition of degenerate art. This is an art gallery. We've got the Jardin de la Fée, which is a fairground carnival. We've got the Museum of European Warfare, Le Conque Noir, a French resistance hideout. We've got an expensive-looking garage, a metro station, and the German Technology Pavilion.
Flint just
What-
would point to the amusement park. Go,
Oh, look how happy he looks.
Let's have a present.
He earned it.
So we start, it sounds like we start moving towards the Jardin La Fée. Illuminations and amusements. The fairground should be empty, yet it pulses with unnatural life. A tank is abandoned and rusted outside the gates. You look up to see a Messerschmitt fighter plane fly low, only to crumble, rust in midair, and crash into the heart of the fairgrounds. Garish lights flicker and hum, neon reflections jittering across the puddles left by the evening's rain. Carousels spin with no riders. Skeletal horses jerking in endless circles to music warped and slowed to a nightmarish crawl.
I like this part.
Game stalls, abandoned in a rush to flee, still flicker with cheap prizes swaying in the wind. Stuffed animals grinning vacantly, rifles at a shooting gallery left cocked and waiting. The great Ferris wheel looms above it all, swaying slightly. Its gondolas rocking in the absence of passengers. Beneath it, another rusted and useless tank sits, its hatch flung open, and its crew long fled. Then, a whisper of rot. There's a creak in the fairground's metal bones. The scent of iron and ozone thickens in the air. The Germans have enlisted evil in all forms to their cause, including Faye. A rust witch is here. Perched atop a gondola, riding the Ferris wheel as it breaks from its frame, grinding down to support its supports in an iron avalanche. She is impossible to mistake. The golden rusted metal spikes in her gray skin glint as the cruel mockery of divinity. Her fingers twitch absently, rust forming beneath her touch, every piece of metal falling to pieces. The fairground machines scream in agony at her presence. Lights stutter, gears seize, and cables snap with a sound like gunfire. The Ferris wheel tips, groaning as it tilts into a free fall, and she rides it like a queen descending her throne. The Rust Witch has come to play. The objective, soldiers, is to navigate a collapsing fairground whilst hunted by an entropy witch. It has got 10 slots on it, and it has a new mechanic, which is Challenge 1. Think of this as a soak. So if you want to work on this objective, you are going to have to spend 1 and then a second 1 to start doing damage to the objective. You're up against a Rust Witch all by herself. This is a phenomenal place.
That's something.
To go to credits. We'll be back.
Yeah.
All right.
one column wide.
We're back. All right. So originally I think we were going to do this in 2 episodes. I think it's going to be 3, but like we were saying during the credits, I'm digging this pace. So I am more than happy to do this over 3 episodes. Mushy, and for those that are new to watching, one of the things that we love to do at the end of credits is to talk as players, not as characters anymore. And I like to cover 3 different things, which are thoughts, stars, and wishes. So from a thoughts perspective, what I like to learn is, what did we think of the game? So we think about the game as a game. What were our thoughts on the system, how it worked, how it felt? What did we dig? What did we struggle with? Stars are, when did it shine? So when we were playing together as 5 of us in this thing, when did everything just click? If someone tomorrow asks you what you did today, and you tell them, I played Eat the Reich, what is the story you're going to tell them as the highlight for today's session? And then the last thing is wishes, which is, what are you hoping for more of? So what did we get this session you want to see again? And what didn't you see that you would like to see? What are you wishing for the future? I think I'll start with you, DZ, if it's all right. What are your thoughts?
I like how different everybody is, both mechanically, personality wise, and like just the flavor. The flavor is very rich in this one, which I dig.
I think between mechanically, the design of these pre-gens are pretty damn good, and we're only seeing 4 of the 6 of them. There's 2 other ones that weren't picked.
I know. I wish I could see the demolitions.
They're all really, really good. And I agree, from a design perspective, I think they're lovely. I also have to call out the art. The art is just so evocative. Like when you're flipping through the portfolio and looking at these 6, you're like, I want to play them, and them. So I'm with you. All right. So that's your thoughts. Stars. What did everything really work for you, DZ?
Yeah, like I said, I'm struggling because all 3 of my co-players had really great moments. I think the creative use of abilities from Arena, probably the luring with the runes might have been my favorite, like single action today. That's great.
Nope, I agree with that. All right, what are you wishing for? What do you want to see DZ more of, or what haven't you seen you'd like to see?
I want XP. You know me.
Well, the good
I'm
news
assuming that this is an Ubermensch, so
this is an Ubermensch. So if you take down the Rust Witch, you get to do an advance. So yes, taking down this Rust Witch will give you an advance, which will give you an additional ability that you'll be able to pick from.
Yeah, can't wait to see what everybody picks.
Me too, because the advances are pretty cool.
I want to see Arena put on the mantle, eh?
Mushy, welcome to the channel. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you making time to play with us. I would like to hear your thoughts on the game system.
Oh, I'm loving it.
What do you like about it?
Simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
It does. You don't have to think massively hard about the rules, and you can just dive straight in sort of the role play in that. That's what sort of first time being on my channel, first time you actually being a DM for me, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loving every second of it. I'm loving my co-hosts. It is amazing. Shout out to Lizzie for actually being the one to introduce us.
True.
For it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity.
All right. So stars. When you think back on our session, Mushy, what really stands out for you?
Okay, it's hard to choose. There's been a lot of cool moments. I think one that's going to stick is when DZ Cosgrave had to take an injury of some sort, and he added in the fact that, you know, obviously Flint had been loping around, knocked him on his head, and the book goes flying. But having a cowboy hat stuck on Flint while he's hiding at the top of the mausoleum was also great. I even did a little sketch.
Beautiful. Oh, there's Flint.
His head.
Little tiny cowboy hat.
Absolutely love it. All right. So, Mushy, what are you wishing for in the future? What do you want more of, or what didn't you see that you would like to see?
I am also a sucker for XP in that. I love it. It's one of my favorite questions to always ask in a game where there's leveling or XP.
Yeah, so you guys take down this rust witch, and you guys are going to have to pick between those lovely advancements, which one you're going to pick up along the way. Roger, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
Oh boy, what a great time to be a gamer in 2025. Things like this just absolutely blow you out of the water. As far as game experiences, Mushy said it. It's simple. It conveys the right tone for what you're going for. It gets out of the way. You can do ridiculous things, and with this cast, there's no shortage of ridiculous things. We're not just like, well, I'm just gonna roll to hit. Oh, I hit. I do 2 damage. Okay, next person. I really like the tension of the. Do you go for the objective? Do you take out the threat? Because both are equally important. And with the way Craig rolls, apparently, we don't get a lot of a lot of successes to play with. So it's got great tension. It's so mechanically tight despite the simplicity, which is nice. So
I think what I'm digging is a few things that you hinted on there, Roger. One, I do love that tension, right? Because, and it's kind of cool in scene 1, we saw how good it is to go for the objective, right? You guys did not have to, you just went for the objective, ruined that funeral, and got the hell out of there because they were beating you up pretty good. And then in the mall at the department store, you guys did a great job taking out those threats, which just made the following stuff easier, and you were just able to roll that objective, right? So it'll be interesting as we move forward, kind of how do we figure that out? What is the best way to go on here? The other thing that I think is neat is that I know for a fact that, especially having seen it played, which I think is why actual plays are great, is when you're about to run a game, it's good to read it. I think it's good to see an actual play so you can see it kind of living and breathing and how it's going to go. I think any GM can now grab this and just start playing, because now, granted, I put a bunch of extra stuff into the each of these locations, but each of the locations, they tell you exactly what it is, what the objective is, what are the threats, and the mechanics are consistent throughout the whole thing. Each time your players are getting a little bit smarter, and as far as how to leverage and to get clever with it. So I love that. All right, so stars for you.
Stars. Chuck is just a great character. Sean did a great job portraying the just cowboy, kick-ass, everything. Every word he said was like straight out of a fucking Louis L'Amour novel, just great. Totally great. I mean, everybody did great, but I love Sean's character.
Yeah, Chuck is pretty good. I agree with you. What are you wishing for? What do you want to see that you didn't see?
I got to start using some of my abilities. I've got some awesome abilities, and I didn't use one of them because I was too busy getting creative with it. So, yeah.
Which one are you staring at that you really want to make sure you use next?
Oh, do I really want to ruin the surprise? Come back for episode 2 and see all my great abilities. That's it. Yeah, gotta leave them hanging.
I love it. I love it. Last but not least, Sean, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
So I wasn't properly prepared for how tactical this feels. Like not in positioning or like what which enemy you're going to apply your stuff to, but rather like how you are going to handle your limited resources, how you're going to handle your limited successes, how many decisions per minute are inherent in this game. The fact that it manages to make a handful of dice, building your pool. First of all, like, do I sacrifice my hat now, or do I not push the objective? Right. I really was not prepared for how much I like that. Like I played Havoc Brigade before. I'd never played Eat the Reich, but the amount of decisions per minute is very, very high. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. And I think what else I like too is I like the idea of let's throw the dice let's make some assignments. And I really want to play this in person because I think there's going to be another visceral aspect of this of picking up dice and saying, I assigned this to that, I assigned this to that, which I think is going to be enhance this even more, which is why I can't wait to play this in person. But I love the fact then you say, okay, what did the dice tell us? And
then you build fiction.
Then you build the fiction. I really love that. I really, really love that. All right, what stood out for you, Sean? What was your star?
So Flint in general is a joy. Having Mushy portray Flint is amazing. The single-minded fervor with which that character is being played is phenomenal. And also, thank you for giving me my hat back. That was probably like I had a heart-warming moment, like you were on a rampage and everything, and then all of a sudden there's like this monster, this murder tyrant hands you my hat back, and it's like your kid handing you like the crayon drawing. Like that's what it felt like. It was great. Thank you.
Except your kid just murdered 18 people.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes Nazis are crayons. Is all I'm saying.
Ooh, very nice. Well done, Sean.
I like that.
All right, Sean, what are you wishing for? What did you get that you want more of, and what didn't you get you'd like to see?
I want to see more flashbacks. Like I love the implied history that we all have together. I want to see that more fleshed out. The moment between Cosgrave and Ariana was just, I don't know, transcendent. Is that too big of a word?
I noticed this when I ran it the first time too, Sean, is how much I did not anticipate the flashbacks to have they just force a cohesiveness immediately, and it creates a history while we play instead of writing 2 pages of worth and bringing it to us.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's very, very cool. And everybody's refreshed, so everybody's going to have fresh flashbacks that they can use, but you're not going to need them next session because you guys are never going to.
Just an intro.
No, because you'll kill us all in one hit.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's what I want. That's my wish. More dice.
Plug for Third Floor Wars real quick. Tabletop Talk, the podcast. You can see it behind me. You can pick it up on any podcatcher. That's an opportunity to hear me talk to people like Sean and his wife Navi about how games like this get made. There is an early interview what I had with the Rowan Work and Descartes team. Grant Howard, who is Howitt, who is a little bit. I've got a thing for Grant because I think Grant is really good at this. If you've never played Honey Heist, that is the one he's often attributed to. But Heart, Spire, this game, and his Patreon's amazing because he puts out a 1-pager on there, literally 1-page RPG, which you'll have more fun with than a 300-page RPG that's sitting on your shelf. So huge fan of everything that comes out of that studio. You can hear me interview them there. This coming Thursday, we have going back to Sentinels. So if you like comic book action, we're having a ton of fun with the Sentinels RPG. And then we're going to be back here a week from today for session 2 of Eat the Reich. But last but not least, I always have to know what's coming out of central Pennsylvania or western Pennsylvania. So talk to me, Sean, about what we can look forward to or what's out there now.
There are so many things. You can find all of our games at a couple of drakes.itch.io. As always, probably have already heard me talk to death about Hedge, which is the thing that was most recent. That's the one that we talked about on Third Floor Wars last time. But coming out soon, we've got I'm not counting that's a Patreon exclusive. So we should have in the next couple of months the playtest document for Riposte, which is our update for Court of Blades. We're currently working on a solo game built on the bones of Deadbelt as well, in which you are playing John Wick style fantasy assassins called Burnt Wicks.
Nice.
That should be in earliest iteration, not too terribly long. So to get ready for that, get both Court of Blades and Deadbelt. And
if we were to sneak over and get onto a couple of Drake's Patreon, what is the benefit of that other than supporting you guys?
Sorry, the Patreon exclusive that I should be talking about as well is a game in which you are playing gig economy exorcists, trying to satisfy the Grubhub style app that you are going to go and purge demons in late stage capitalism. Your equipment and healthcare not included.
The world is absolutely lousy with demons.
Absolutely.
I really hate how inspirational current life is right now.
Yeah, Craig, what made you want to run this? In this
Oh God, God, oh, I don't want to talk about it. See everybody next week. If I don't see you on Thursday, take care all.
Love you.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.